Hey guys, make sure to subscribe and hit that notification bell to be updated every time I make a new video. Thanks, let's begin. Well, this was a major improvement over the first. Behemoth 2. This is the 2019 novel by Michael Cole, and is also episode 5 of the Michael Cole Files. Let's chomp into it. The plot. Something is amiss in Florida's waters. A down-on-her-luck marine biologist is stuck doing a job that she loathes. She is the head of a rehabilitation program for sea life at an aquarium. It's not that she hates her job, it's more so her boss. However, when boats start washing up ashore are destroyed, and people go missing, she discovers a new creature that has been produced by nature. Or has it? After she captures the fish, she does a little digging, and discovers that there may be a link between this creature and one that attacked a chain of islands 3 years prior, having been written around 3 years after the last book, Behemoth. It's clear that Mr. Cole's writing style has greatly improved. I mean, he was showing evidence of this halfway through the original Behemoth, and now it has become very apparent. This book is 270 pages, and in that it does drag a bit, but I didn't hate the characters. They were strong enough to keep me invested. A lot happens, and it is all related, or at least integral to the plot. I was wondering for a bit if it would actually live up to the title, Behemoth 2. I mean, the fish in this book is big. It's 23 feet long, but that's not necessarily enough to classify it as a behemoth. Does it? Read and find out. I ain't spoiling. I love the locations and settings in this book. We go from a fictional island chain called Mako's Ridge to Felt's Paradise in Paraiso Marino, Florida. It's a bit of the same. However, there are some differences, like an aquarium that has a roller coaster, which I wish that roller coaster had more of a payoff or was important to the climax, but still cool. Felt's Paradise is the name of the aquarium. As I mentioned, it has a rehabilitation program for sea life, which our main character is a part of. It's all mask, though. The owner, Felt, is actually in cahoots with some not-so-good people who actually polluted the water with toxic waste. For the characters, we have Julie Forster, a nod to Julie Forster from Piranha 3D. Actually, it's more of a reference to Robert Forster from Alligator, 1980. She has hit rock bottom. Her run-ins with the law and temperamental rage have gotten her into a ton of trouble. She has been demoted to working as a marine biologist at an aquarium that is run by a complete piece of shit. She often wonders how her father feels about her. Her father is dead, and she wonders, what does he think of her up there? Is she a failure?
Yes.
William Felt, owner of Felt's Paradise, self-entitled name much, only sees dollar signs. He doesn't care about the safety of his employees, let alone the animals, hence why he polluted the area. Also, when one of the Osiris Palinduridaes is brought in, he will not wait for further studies. He just wants to profit off of it. He also has a bad rep amongst the town, for polluting their waters and killing their fish. And unfortunately, Julie is a part of that. Even if she wasn't directly involved, she still gets the wrath. Chief Joseph Nelson tries his patience with Julie. He has bailed her out of trouble so many times because he likes her. However, when the creature is revealed, as is its very existence being a threat, he tries to get to the beaches shut down. A lot of good it'll do. Still, it's an admirable effort, even if the mayor doesn't go along with him with it. Morris is a helper at the aquarium. He's a good guy who feeds Felt's Paradise's major attraction, a great white shark. Does it end well for him? Read and find out. I ain't spoiling. Colonel Sackhill is back from the first book. He was kind of a minor character in that book. Here he is much more fleshed out. He wants these creatures destroyed, and the casualties kept to a minimum. He does cause an oil rig to explode as a way to have a cover-up, but he does explain to everyone who knows about his plan that no people were actually harmed. Two other characters returning from the first book that were the main characters in the last book are Rick Napier and Elisa Thompson. Now, Lisa Napier, yeah, they got married. Rick is hesitant to relive the horror that he experienced back at Miko's Ridge again. However, he faces his fears and heads out to Parissa Marina, Florida. He, his wife, and his daughter were threatened by the government, who tried bribing him to say that the events from the first book were staged, faked, totally made up. But that didn't work, so they threatened him and his family. Then he buckles, understandably. Lisa, who is a blonde, I thought she was redheaded in the first book, but she's not. Julie is the redhead in this book, is ready to fight by her husband's side. She still has her Coast Guard training, and that comes in handy when she needs to fly a helicopter or point out things that are not really military grade, that are for some reason on a military mission. Out of place much. The richness of the characters is what made me enjoy this story the most. There is a scene at a bar where Julie runs into some townsfolk she had prior encounters with. They were not that pleasant, but something happens, and she's now needs to catch up on her sea shanties. I love that scene. I have no problem singing the praises of the second scene, where she has another run-in with the townsfolk. It gives you the feeling of warmth and appreciation that the characters bring, as does Mr. Cole's writing. Michael Cole seems to get his formula down pat by this book. Introduce the monster, have it escape, have likable characters go after it, or not so likable, for one explosive and gory finale. There are a few elements that took me by surprise. The mercenaries being involved was actually quite the shock because they weren't total scum. The men, and Colonel Sackhill especially, don't want people to die. They just want the creatures taken out. It's refreshing, actually. But still, they do really questionable stuff. For the gore, we get people chomped in two. There isn't much in terms of variety with the kills. I mean, there's a kill very similar to Creature from the Crevice where a guy slides down the fish's back and, yeah, that doesn't end well. It was a bit overwhelming reading about characters getting bitten in two over and over and over again. The creature, this time around, is a lobster shark. There are several twists I love with this shark. I will say that it does have antennas around its nasal cavity, and that it's red, but that is as far as I'll go. There are so many surprises in store for you. For the potential film score, Andrew Lockington, who composed Rampage 2018, would I think be a great choice for a movie's composer choice, especially with the great use of violin in Rampage, and especially implementing the region's genre of music, like chants. Like, that was in Rampage. It had chants and songs sung by Africans. It was like, that's very fitting. Tribal chants, if you will. If you were able to compose a score for Behemoth 2, I'd love to hear him incorporate some nautical sounds. I mean, I know the water doesn't make any noise, but underwater, you can hear shit. Not necessarily when there's nothing there, but you can still make noise underwater. Bubbles! A movie adaptation would also need an epic and destructive score that I feel Lockington did wonders with in Rampage. Overall, this is a giant leap forward for Mr. Cole in terms of writing and execution, and is all around a much better book than the first. The characters have more depth. The action and characters are well written. There's great pacing, tension, and carnage throughout. While it is all a bit repetitive, it still satisfies. This book basically checks all the marks, all the boxes, for a Michael Cole story, and it does so to the best of its ability. You might want to read the first book before reading this one, but this one does catch you up on pretty much everything major that happens in the first book. It's maybe around 270 pages. It may move a little bit slow at first, but once you get into it, you're into it. for the long haul. One hell of a ride. Overall, I give Behemoth 2 a 3 out of 5. Thank you all for watching, and I am Brian Gatto. Hit that notification bell to be notified every time I make a new video, and as always, subscribe.